Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So today is going to be extracurricular items. And by that, I mean things that aren't in your normal lineup of subjects. So language arts, math, social studies, science, those kind of things. These are above and beyond things that aren't necessary, but that I want to add in. Some of them are in the house that we'll add in with our normal homeschool routine, and some are out of the house. So that's kind of how I'm defining it. Over the last several weeks, I've been sharing my curriculum picks for my kindergartner, my preschooler. We shared our family subjects and our read alouds. And today is the last video of pick videos with our extracurricular items. Before I get started, I did want to share that this video is part of a collaboration with other homeschool moms sharing their extra picks for the year. So check out the link that's going to be in the description below to see that playlist and get more ideas, or just enjoy watching and seeing what they're going to choose. And today's collaboration is hosted by Davene at Common the Chaos and Shauna at Homegrown Homeschool. So I'm going to link their channels below as well. So go ahead and check them out. If you like this kind of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. You can hit the notification bell so you don't miss videos. It helps out my channel quite a bit. So to get down to it, these are fun items for me because these aren't the necessary things. These are the things that I want to add. And I mean, some of the other things that I've added in our subjects at this age, kindergarten, aren't necessary either. But these are kind of, I don't know, I see extracurricular as more of the fun items. So to begin with, we'll probably pick the one that I'm the most excited to start, and that is language studies. And we are going to be doing German with my daughters. I'm not going to show you inside this. I do plan to do a kind of flip through and review of this curriculum down the road. And if you're interested in that, please comment below and let me know if you'd like me to do that. But I have here just the first 2 weeks printed out. You can buy this as a physical product or as a PDF. So I have just printed out the first 2 weeks, and I haven't done the rest because there's a little bit of cutting out to do. It comes with some flashcards, food cards, emotion cards for these first couple of weeks, as well as some little reader picture book things that you print out and do. And I'm really happy about that because I think little picture books are a great way to reinforce what you've been learning with your kids. But this is for ages 4 to 8 is what it's advertised as. So it's preschool. There's no writing because they want it to be before kids are reading and writing. So this is all parent-led. It's scripted. It's open and go. And I really like what I've seen. And the reason we went with German is where we live, we don't have a specific conglomeration of any particular ethnicity that I feel like would be valuable for my children to learn. So that didn't really have a factor in what we chose. And then I was trying to kind of figure out, well, this, that, but my children do have a German heritage on their dad's side. Their great-grandparents were from Germany, and their grandmother speaks German. She grew up with that at home, and so she knows German, even though it's not her first language. She was raised in the US. And so they have a connection to that. And also she can kind of help talk with them and help them practice and correct them a little bit. So they have somebody who they can actually use their German on. And because of that, even though my husband didn't learn German as a child, he's very familiar with the sound of it, and he knows quite a few words here and there. And so I thought, well, if we're doing it as a family and I'm doing it with them, it's something that he would be able to pick up and participate in very easily because he's just familiar with the sound of it. So that's kind of why we went with German, but I'm really happy about it. And we've been picking up words here and there. We just learned our colors this week for the fun of it. We haven't even started the curriculum, but my daughters really want to learn it. And so I think that's going to be a really fun subject. The next one is not one we're doing with all my kids, but I'm just going to do with my kindergartner, and then next year with my daughter as she reaches kindergarten. But we're going to be learning piano. So I play piano, not fluently. I never had lessons. My husband plays some, but he had some lessons as a child, I guess, but not a lot. But I taught myself most of what I know. So I don't feel comfortable teaching the upper levels of piano because I know as it gets more complicated, I feel like I want my children to actually have, professional teachers. But for the very beginning kindergarten level piano and the very basics, I feel comfortable teaching that, especially with this, which really I feel like will walk me through well enough to do it. And I have done a flip through and review of this in the past, so I'll link that below if you want to check that out. I did a review of all 3 levels of My First Piano Adventures, A, B, and C, so you can go look at that. But I'm looking forward to just starting this really simply. These are more fun than your traditional older student levels. And so it's more like I want to make it a piano game for her and just begin. And then I feel like I'll get a good idea of if she likes it and if she's going to continue with it, then we can pay for lessons. But I feel like the first level or 2, I'm going to try to do myself and just kind of get a feel for where she's at with it and if it's something that we're going to pursue. So that'll be our next extracurricular item. And then I've been debating whether I want to do art for her. My older daughter really likes to draw and color, and so I think I'm just going to let her do that. I do have one of the Draw Right Now books. I also have Drawing with Children that I've thought about breaking open and actually starting to do like drawing periods with them, but I feel like that's just a little bit too much for me right now. So I have that on the back, and if I want to pull that out at some time, I may. But I feel like when I think about it, I get a little overwhelmed at trying to facilitate that. So I don't know if we'll do that. It's kind of there if I want it, but I'm not going to press myself into it. So we'll just kind of see if it happens naturally, it'll happen. And if not, then she'll just continue to color and draw and won't have anything guiding her at this point. Also, we're going to be continuing with poetry tea time that we've done this last year. So just once a week at the end of our school day, we make some tea. I get some animal crackers. Very basic. We light a little tea candle on the table. That's it. Nobody dresses up. We don't do anything extra or fancy because it needs to be easy and quick for me. And my children eat animal crackers while I read them poems. And we read Robert Louis Stevenson's A Child's Garden of Verses last year. We read some of the Winnie the Pooh now when we were very young, and now we were 6. We read those. So I'll just pick a few more books of poetry, probably one after the other. I don't have them chosen out in advance. I have quite a bit, and so we'll just pick something. And we'll continue to do that. My children really enjoy it, probably because they get animal crackers, if I'm honest. But as a result, I feel like they're hearing good writing and getting just familiar and an introduction to what poetry feels like. And so I enjoy it as well. So we'll do that. And then I guess I could have classified these as family subjects or extracurricular. I'm not really sure, but I have some like emotional health, physical, how our baby's made, physical safety, like teaching you that that they have control of their bodies, and stranger danger type books. And I'm just kind of classifying those as like health and safety-ish for preschooler. And they're all really gently done. None of them are scary. I don't want to like scare my kids, but I do want to start talking about that subject. I feel like just today's society, it's something that needs to be brought in young. So these are what I'm going to be using. I have Created with Emotions, and this is very biblically based. It brings in a lot of scripture. We ran through this last year, and we will continue to run through this again. And these books that I'm bringing up are not things we're going to be doing every day. It's going to be like every week, every other week, I'll pull open one of these books and we'll read through it and just kind of talk through it again. So this is the one on emotions that I have. And then the way they were made, or the way babies are made, we have The Story of Me. And these are all written for young children, very child appropriate. And we have The Wonderful Way Babies Are Made. So we'll kind of just open up that discussion a little bit in a gentle manner. And then about how they were made. God made boys and girls. So we'll talk about that and just some of the differences. And then this one, God Made All of Me, we have read several times and we'll continue to read through. And it's really just about how God made them, and God made everything really good. Everything's really good. But they have control over their bodies. And if somebody's tickling them and they don't want to be tickled, they can say, no, thank you. And if somebody gives them a handshake and they don't want a handshake, they can say, just that they have complete autonomy of their body and they can say, no, thank you. And if somebody doesn't listen, tell mom and dad can help, and we don't keep secrets. And it really broaches those topics in a really child-friendly way. I've read them with my 3-year-olds and they're not afraid afterwards. It's not fearful. It's just a discussion. It's again, very biblically based, and my children enjoy hearing me read it. And it's just a good thing to get that conversation started for down the road, kind of building on it. So we will continue to read this. I really recommend this one to people who have little children. Another one is I Said No. Again, a similar idea that you can say no, and then these are things you can do if people aren't listening. These are words you can say to dad and mom. Like, I think it tries to establish like a private word that they don't have to be embarrassed about, but it means that we need to go have a conversation if they were to say that word. So we'll address that one. Again, just kind of along the same lines, good pictures, bad pictures, and this is the junior version. They have an older version. My children aren't ready for it, but just what do you do when you see a bad picture? What is a bad picture? Just because there is so much out there in technology. And when my children run across that, I want to have had the conversation beforehand so that they do know how to respond and that they talk to me about it. But again, I want to address it in a non-intimidating way and in a way that doesn't give them ideas, but just kind of opens the conversation so that it's not a completely foreign or out of the blue when they run across it, because you really don't know at what age or where or when. And we're pretty careful with our kids. We're really aware of what they're doing and what they're seeing, but I cannot look over their shoulders all the time, no matter how careful I am. And so I want to have them prepared for any situation that might occur. And if it doesn't, wonderful. That is what I pray for. But if it does, then they need to know what to do, and not be very vulnerable in those situations. So we're going through that stack. And then this one looks way more intimidating, and it just looks harsh. It's protecting your children from sexual assault. And like I said, this looks like a really intimidating, like, out there book. It's not. This is to you as the teacher, and then it has some lessons with children, and that's what I'm using it mainly for. And the lessons with children aren't like, this book is red and black and the title is like in your face. It's not harsh like that. It's scenarios that you talk through with your children. So if somebody's at the park and wants you to walk to their car and help them carry something, what do you say? And it's not like, oh, because all these evil things are going to happen to you. Like, that's not how you present it to your children. But it's just running through some very practical, realistic scenarios that could happen. And what do you say and why or why not? And we just talk through them. And so it's, again, I'm not wanting to scare my kids or any of that, but I do want to have those conversations of, should strangers be asking you these things? Should they not? And if not, what's your response? Because I don't want my children to just be like a deer in the headlight when something happens, or totally oblivious. I want there to be a conversation that, oh, I need to go ask mom, and so that's what that is for. Again, the first few chapters are for you as a parent, and then in the back, there's some like little lessons that I'll do with my children, just kind of talk through. So again, we're not doing those every day, or maybe not even every week, maybe every other week. We'll just pick one up and talk through it and just kind of get those conversations going. So that is what we were doing for that. And then lastly, we've been doing swim lessons throughout the last couple of months this winter, and we can plan to continue that through the summer. My husband's teaching our children to swim. We're not like going and doing lessons, but I'm going to get a subscription to a pool through the summer so that we can continue that. So that will kind of include in our school extracurriculars, I suppose. We're going to try to continue through the winter and into the summer and just kind of keep that going, get them familiar with that, as well as I want to join this school year some sort of co-op or adventure group or preschool, kindergarten aged meetup with other homeschoolers. We have a large homeschooling community where we are, and I really need to take advantage of that. I've attended one or two this last year, but it's been so hard for me with a baby, and I'm not massively social, and so getting out of the house is just so much easier for me to stay in the house with my 3 little kids. It's hard to tow 3 little kids somewhere, but my oldest daughter is super social, and my second daughter is getting to be social, and I value that. I want to get them on outings. I want to get them friends and interacting with people, and I know I also need that support group. So it is one of my goals to find something that meets. I'm thinking no more than every other week, or I will not attend more than every other week, just because I think every week's a little bit much for me right now. But trying to attend every other week and get my children out and about and doing things with other kids and doing field trips, or just activities and interactions. So that would be my other goal for kind of extracurricular things, would be to join some sort of co-op or field trip group with kids similar ages to mine. So that is all I have. And thinking about the last several videos that I've put out with their curriculum picks and this group subjects read aloud, these, I have quite a bit this year being just preschool and kindergarten, but we can be flexible if things don't work, and you don't know until you try it. So I'm not saying I have it all together, but maybe this gives you some ideas. And if you're interested in the other picks that I've done, I will link those videos below as well. If you want to see what we chose for our curriculum and for our family subjects, I'll link those. And I hope that you enjoyed this and look forward to seeing you next time.